Hi, hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Future in Finance CeMAP Study Podcast, where you may or may not notice that there's no video with this week's episode, and that would be mainly because Maria and I moved house.
Woohoo!
So now, instead of being neighbours, we are no longer neighbours. We live together in one wholesome household. And what that means is that we're currently living in a hovel of boxes.
Surrounded by boxes.
We don't know where our
essentially a
clothes are.
fort. The laptop is on a box.
The shower doesn't work.
So the gate doesn't work.
It's going well.
We don't have a cooker.
But we couldn't put the video on. We thought we'd spare you all that
trauma.
particular trauma for this week. But this week is a really big episode, Maria, and I have not prepped you at all for this once again.
You never prep me for this. You just go, we need to do a podcast, and I go, okay. And I have every faith that you've prepped yourself.
And that is because this week's episode is the first one where we talk about Unit 2 of your CeMAP 1 exam, which is the second lot of 50 questions that you get in your exam.
Right, got it.
So we'll jump into it in a second. Before we do any of that, we can definitely absolutely still... You got to cue the intro music.
Oh. Cue the intro music.
Back in the room. Okay, are you with me?
I'm with you. I'm really sorry. You looked at me expectantly then, and I was like, what do you want from me? What am I even doing here? Who am I? That is the level at which we are in the house move.
So in this week's episode, actually, let's strip it right back. So all of the CeMAP 1 podcast episodes that we have done so far have been geared towards the first 50 questions in your 100 question exam.
Yes.
So when people sit it on exam day, oh, you've done this, I forget you've sat CeMAP 1. So you log in, whether you're doing it from home or in a test centre, and you are presented with 50 questions. Mm-hmm. And you do those 50 questions, and they're like, cool, are you done? And you go, yes. And they go, are you sure? And you go, yes. And you go, are you sure? And you go, well, I think so. And then when you press yes, it kicks you out of those 50 questions, never to be seen again.
Yeah.
And then says, are you ready to start round 2? And that is, this is the first topic of Unit
round 2.
So chapter 17 of your CeMAP 1 textbook kicks off the first bit of your Unit 2 studies.
Got it.
So if anybody's already sat CeMAP and they've passed Unit 1, they can forget all the other podcast episodes and just start here. Okay. Which unit did you pass?
I can't remember.
Oh, we blocked it out.
Blocked it out. It was traumatic. Oh, the whole thing. No, it wasn't. Which one did I pass? Did I pass 1 and fail 2? But I think I failed 2 by like 2 marks.
1 or 2 marks.
Because I remember passing you my results and you going, oh, that's so annoying. And I was like, it is.
So Unit 2 is different from Unit 1 in the way of Unit 1 it's things like gilts, pension products, benefits system, investment products.
Yeah.
All of that stuff. A lot of people struggle more with Unit 2 because you can't guess your way to the right answer. You either know the right answer or you don't. And that's what people struggle with Unit 2. But people either love it or they hate it. Like, everyone says Unit 2 is harder. That's not the case. 50% of people say Unit 2 is harder.
Right.
So it is a real split down the middle. But in this particular topic, they start talking about regulation for the first time. So everything that we've done so far that's been CeMAP 1 related has been products, services, investments, all of that kind of stuff. This is the episode where we start talking about, okay, we've mentioned the FCA like 400 million times, but who are the FCA?
What did they do?
Yeah,
where did they come from?
All of that stuff. And this chapter of the textbook is particularly dense. Like, I look at it and I do that thing where I rub my eyes and I'm like, oh my God, where do we even start with this information? So
Sounds like my A-level maths teacher with me. This one's particularly dense and I don't know where to start with her.
So I have put a little bit of a twist on this week's episode in a sense of, I think we don't go through particular chapters of regulation like your textbook will do, and we will come on to that in a different topic.
Yeah.
Instead, I'm going to break down all the different important departments that you need to know about for your CeMAP 1 exam and kind of how they connect to each other.
Oh, okay, I like that.
If anyone is particularly visual, it'll be even more handy that if you go to the free version of the e-learning platform, which I will link in the show notes, you can actually get a downloadable PDF of this.
You're so good to us.
I know. I need to stop making so much stuff free. That's what people keep telling me, but I just won't do it. So, with that in mind, we are going to start with The Bank of England. Maria,
Mm.
what do you know about the Bank of England? Do not read
Big
off
bod.
the slide.
Big bod. Big Daddy Bank.
Big Daddy Bank.
Big Daddy Bank.
Yep.
Not to be confused with the Bank of Dad.
Not the Bank of Dad, no. So, they
big dogs
are the big dogs. They are the banker to the banks. They are the banker to the government.
Tippity top of the pyramid.
Yeah,
as far as banks go, they're the big cojones. If you were going to run a bank heist, you probably wouldn't bother with these guys.
Yeah, you'd never get through the walls.
Yeah.
That's part of the Bill style things. Yeah, perfect. No, that's everything that we need. So as long as we understand that if we're going to look at this from a family tree perspective, we're going to have the Bank of England at the top. And then there's quite a few different, not spin-offs from the Bank of England, but relatives that we need to know about.
Okay, a whole family tree, I'm here for it.
Yeah, and that's how the picture that people can download it will look like a family tree, which is helpful.
Oh, so in was it year 6 or something, where it was like, can you draw your family tree?
Yeah,
and
Gramps exactly that.
Obviously lost all of his marbles because that was his whole thing. Then he was like, I can give you back to the Civil War. I was like, I don't think they need it that far, Grandpa. I think probably just to great-grandparents. And he was like, but then you miss out all of these people.
Did he get one of those ancestry.co.uk packages for a birthday?
He was Ancestry.co.uk. He was the whole... there are still boxes upon boxes of microfiche films. And in fact, if anyone knows where I can donate it, that would be great. Because I've got the fucking Needham family tree back to the Reformation. And the only reason we don't have it after the Civil War is because during the Civil War, before the Civil War...
it all burnt down.
No, oh my God, it's the religious war. They went after the churches. The churches hated each other. This is a potted, terrible version of this. And they destroyed the opposite churches. And that's where all the births, deaths and marriages were recorded. So it's really hard to trace family history pre that, because all of the previous history was destroyed during...
Interestingly, we can talk about this in CeMAP 2 and 3.
No, we do not.
We do, because...
Stop it!
So, just for a bit of education, extra education here, we talk about when you have the deeds to your property. So...
yeah.
Your deeds to the property, obviously not everything has always been digital.
No.
A lot of people don't have the physical deeds to their property, and that's because they were stored in places that burnt down during the war. Exactly the same concept. Can devalue your house, fun fact. Some lenders...
you don't have the OG deeds.
If you don't have the OG deeds... But we'll get on to that for CeMAP 2 and 3.
Okay, well, that was an actual helpful segue, but back in the room.
Looping back to CeMAP 1. So we've got Bank of England. They are top of the food chain. A brother, sister, however you would prefer to reference them. The Monetary Policy Committee.
Yeah.
We speak about these briefly in an earlier episode, but they are a department of the Bank of England.
Okay.
The only thing that you need to know about your exam for CeMAP 1 is they get together 8 times a year to set interest rates.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
That's all they do.
Do you know why they set interest rates or change interest rates? What are they aiming to achieve? This is also another popular exam question.
Manage inflation and the economy.
To reach our inflation targets. Well done.
Oh, yes.
So
can't believe I failed this unit. What a twat.
So the Monetary Policy Committee get together 8 times a year to set interest rates to meet inflation targets. That is the only reason that they change
all they do.
That is who they are and what they do.
Cool.
On the other side of the Bank of England, we've got another 2 departments who I actually don't think this comes up very often in people's exams, but to miss it out would be
mean that they
negligence.
come up in people's exams.
Yeah, exactly. The FPC and the PRC, I think, Financial Policy Committee and Prudential Regulation Committee. And actually, I'm not going to talk about them because I know this is not going to come up in people's exams, and I don't want people to confuse them with the next ones that we're going to talk about that are also obviously abbreviated in a very similar way.
However, this is not a comprehensive study guide.
Please do not listen to this podcast and think that you can sit the exam like Maria did, because it might have worked for her.
I didn't listen to the podcast. I was part of the podcast and had the absolute fucking nerve to think I'd be fine. It was very reminiscent of my GCSEs. Like, I'll be grand. I'll skate by on a wing, a prayer, and a couple of bits of reading.
So we're going to forget about those 2 departments because this is not a comprehensive study guide and I don't think it'll come up in your exam, but we are absolutely now going to look at the 2 children of the Bank of England.
Okay.
So the Bank of England has its brother, the Monetary Policy Committee.
Yeah.
Setting interest rates, meeting inflation targets.
Yeah.
Then has 2 children. One is called the FCA, or the Financial Conduct Authority. Mm-hmm. The other one is called the PRA, or the Prudential Regulation Authority. Yeah. I can give everyone the easiest hack that will help everyone remember the difference between these two right now. Mm-hmm. Every time you look at FCA and PRA and go, what the fuck is the difference? Mm-hmm. The FCA is all to do with people and outcomes, as in, are customers protected? Mm-hmm. The PRA don't give a shit about customers, they only give a shit about money. So they go, is the money protected?
Okay, so the FCA is the daughter, and the PRA is the son.
Why are we gendering them in today's society?
Because, I'm really sorry if you can hear barking, it's Pekin thinking that we're being robbed. We might be being robbed. Who knows?
So, yeah, if you want brother and sister, we're going to use the FCA as the daughter. They look after the people. Might have to prop it. We're going to use the PRA as the money management department. And that is because the FCA, or the Financial Conduct Authority, they are the main regulating body for financial services in the UK as a whole. That is a textbook sentence. That is what they do. They underpin why we do everything in financial services. So what happens is the government will create new legislation. For example, the government will go, we think that too many people are becoming victims of identity theft, or we think that too many people are money laundering.
Okay.
We need to make stricter requirements for money laundering in the UK.
Sounds reasonable.
And that comes out of government. The government then tell the Financial Conduct Authority, and they go, cool, now you make it happen. And it is the Financial Conduct Authority that create all of the rules and regulation that we have in the UK, and then they feed it out to all the banks, all the lenders, all the loan companies, all the credit card companies, or everything that has anything to do with money, insurance.
That is major elder daughter energy. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That is very true. Yeah. So the government set it out. They drop it into the Financial Conduct Authority. They are the main regulating body.
Yeah.
Who control everything to do with financial services in the UK.
Yeah.
The PRA is the brother. So the PRA is the FCA's brother.
Yeah.
That stands for Prudential Regulation Authority.
Yes.
They only care about money. So in CeMAP, we don't have a huge amount of involvement. Really, there's one topic on the PRA, and it's pretty nice to deal with, and that's because the whole point of CeMAP is look after your customers, which is why it's an FCA requirement that people have CeMAP to advise on mortgages.
With you. Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Whereas what the PRA do is they will go into an insurance company and they'll go, show us your bank accounts. We want to make sure that you're not spending all of this money on hookers and cocaine.
Yeah.
So the two work independently of each other in a sense of the FCA investigates processes.
Yeah.
The PRA investigates money management.
Yes.
They can share information between each other though. So if it is that one of them had a red flag about a company, like let's say the FCA investigated a major bank, and they realised that their complaints were through the roof, there was loads of stuff going wrong, they were generally concerned, they could ring the PRA brother and go, hey, have you had any gossip about these guys? Because it feels a bit suspicious.
So they do communicate.
Yeah.
So that there's not direct crossover, but they move in the same social circles.
Exactly. They will also investigate separately, but share information between each other.
Yeah.
So the FCA could do an investigation in a company. The PRA could also do an investigation of a company. Mm-hmm. The other way that I like to think about it, which can separate it for me sometimes, is when you think about it doesn't really happen anymore, but when big financial firms collapse, like Northern Rock.
Yeah.
It was monetary failure, so it was prudential failure. That's why they're called the Prudential Regulation Authority. So it was prudential failure that meant that they didn't continue as a business, while it was the PRA that flagged it because it was a money thing. It was the FCA that managed the collapse once it happened because it was then affecting customers.
Oh, interesting.
So they do overlap between one another.
Yeah.
But all that you need to know for the purposes of CeMAP 1 is all that you need to know. This is like the next 7 topics that we're going to do. But the FCA is all to do with people and services.
Yeah.
From a financial services perspective in the UK. The PRA are the money management guys.
So FCA, F for folk, PRA, P for purse.
Very clever.
You're welcome.
I like that. Thank you. 2 more departments then we're going to talk about.
Oh, more family members?
Just 2.
Oh, okay.
One of them, and everyone will get this exam question, so put your listening ears on, is the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. And the exam question that you will get is, which department do the Financial Services Compensation Scheme fall under? Is it the FCA? Is it the PRA? Is it the FCA and the PRA? Or is it the Financial Ombudsman Service? You either fucking know it or you fucking don't.
I fucking don't.
They are the love child of the FCA and the PRA.
No way!
So,
okay,
the Financial Services Compensation Scheme are the child of the Financial Conduct Authority and the Prudential Regulation Authority.
Feels a little ancient Greek gods with siblings and siblings' kids.
Yeah, there's one last child that is not a love child of those two. It's from a previous relationship in a second, but we'll come on to those guys. So, do you know anything about the Financial Services Compensation Scheme?
No.
Nothing at all.
I would assume, given the name, that they are the ones that provide compensation for people that have been affected by misconduct in the financial services.
Close. Very close. So, when we think about making a complaint, and people go, oh, refer your complaint to FOS.
Good old FOS.
That's the last department. That's the department we're going to speak about in a second.
Yeah.
They are the guys that would offer potential payouts to customers if they'd been mistreated or affected in any way. The Financial Services Compensation Scheme are the department that would protect people up to a certain limit if a company went into liquidation. That's the only way that they would get involved. So if Halifax Bank went bust tomorrow, that would mean that potentially all of those customers would lose all of their money.
Yep.
Hopefully, with the regulation the way it is today, we won't see that happen. If it did happen, people would be protected with the FSCS, or the Financial Services Compensation Scheme.
Right.
The one time people have heard about this is if they listen to the radio and they will hear an advert for a mortgage, an insurance product. It doesn't matter, any financial services product.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the advert, because it's a radio advert, it goes, please go to natwest.co.uk for full terms and conditions. Offers available between this date and this date.
Yeah.
Your money is protected through the Financial Services Compensation Scheme.
Oh, okay.
That's where people have heard that from.
Really quick speed blurb at the end.
Yeah. That's where people have heard that from, because everybody goes, it's familiar. I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
It's because you've heard of it from that. And basically what it says is everyone in the UK who has a bank account, a loan, an insurance company with the companies that are protected through FSCS. Sounds like a sofa advert.
It really does.
I'm going to say the full one. The Financial Services Compensation Scheme are protected up to a certain amount per person per bank account.
That makes sense.
If we put that into real life talk for a second, how much do you think per person per bank account people are protected?
Oh, I wouldn't put it that high. I want to say 10 grand.
It's more than 10 grand.
Is it?
Yeah.
50 grand?
Close. It's £85,000.
Per person per bank account?
Yeah.
So does that mean if you have 3 bank accounts, you only get one covered?
No, you would have to have... If you had 3 separate bank accounts, that would be fine. You would be protected across all 3 for £85,000.
Yeah.
The problem that you have is people don't bother to do that. And I mean, there's not going to be many people with more than that amount of money in their account. There probably are. But that's why financial advisors come in, because they will say, okay, if you've only got 85 grand's worth of cover per person per bank account, but you've got £2 million in the bank, we need to protect all that money by putting it in all sorts of different protected places up to the limit.
Yeah.
So there used to be an exam question. I don't know if it's still... Nobody's flagged this for ages, but there used to be an exam question that was like, John had accounts with 2 companies, both went into liquidation. Why did he get more money out of one company than he did from another, or something similar to that? Yeah. And it's because one was a joint account and the other one was a single account, in a sense of it's per person, per bank account. If you have a joint account, you then get double the amount of cover.
Because it's 2 people.
Exactly. So that's... My screen has just gone completely blank and I don't know what's happened. Oh,
we may or may not still be recording. Are we?
We are still recording. We're absolutely fine. So that's the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. Up to £85,000 worth of cover per person, per bank account. If the company goes into liquidation. It's got bugger all to do with if you lose money on a dodgy investment. Who doesn't care? That is another really common exam question, and people tend to get that one wrong.
Okay, so it is literally, you're thinking institutional collapse.
Yep.
That is what we're talking here. It's not just, oh shit, I buggered it.
Exactly that. And there's a temporary relief clause with this as well. So it says, if you have that money temporarily, you could get up to £1 million worth of cover. So if you'd just gone through divorce and you'd just settled, or you just got a hefty inheritance,
you haven't had time to redistribute your assets.
If it's been less than 6 months in that bank account, you get up to £1 million worth of cover. If it's more than 6 months, tough shit, you should have done something with it sooner.
Which seems fair.
Yeah.
That's actually, yeah.
And the only other kind of caveat with this one is insurance companies, it works a little bit different because...
Of course it fucking does.
Because you don't hold money with an insurance company.
No.
You get cover.
Yeah.
So the simple rule is up to 100% of the claim value. So if you had home insurance for £1 million and something happened to your house, but the insurance company got into liquidation, you'd get cover for up to £1 million. Because it's 100% of the claim policy value or claim value.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And then the last department that we're going to talk about is FOS, the Financial Ombudsman Service. Maria, what do you know about these guys?
These guys are kind of like the Popo, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
They're like the enforcement team. These are the guys that, for example, your house flooded a year and a bit ago and your insurers and your claims handling company have been fucking bellends about the entire thing and everyone's blaming everyone else and you still don't have an oven or a functioning toilet and your life is a mess. And you're done with everyone. These are the guys that you go, can I have a word? And can I let you know that these individuals who should be following the rules are in fact not, and I feel like I'm having the piss taken out of me as a consumer. Can you have a look at it?
Exactly that. So they are an independent investigation team. So you have a problem with any financial services company, whether it's home insurance or your bank account or your credit card company, you always have to take the complaint to the company first. That is a blanket rule.
Yeah.
The complaint goes to the company first. The company have to resolve it within 8 weeks. At the 8-week point, they'll come back and go, either we've resolved it and we think everything's fine, or we haven't resolved it, we're still looking into it. Or they might say, well, actually, regardless of the outcome, they have to say, if you're still not satisfied, you can take this complaint to the Financial Ombudsman Service. And that's your indicator to go, okay, do you know what? I think this has been a bit of a fuck up. I am going to take it to the independent adjudicator. They will look into everything. So you go onto the Financial Ombudsman Service's website, you give them all of the details. They will then go to the company that you want them to investigate. They'll ask for all of their notes on your claim. They will look at it as though it was a court case kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And they will either say, actually, we think the company operated X in a way that's okay, and we think you were just being a bit of a fucking drama queen about it. Or they will come back and say, actually, we think they dropped a ball. We think you deserved better. And they will look to get the company to offer you compensation. But it's not like you just owe them £1 million because you've been a turd. The idea is it's designed to put you back in the position that you would have been in had their dropping a ball not occurred.
Yeah, so that's the governing principle of insurance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Basically.
And it works the same with, so if it is that
the
you've
financial board.
Exactly. If you've dealt with a bank account and they've behaved badly and you've spent hours on the phone to them, you would look to be financially compensated for your time.
Yeah.
That's where the Financial Ombudsman Service would come in. And they would say to the company, we think that you've misbehaved or we think you've done all right.
Yeah.
That's who FOS are. We have a whole topic. The last topic of CeMAP 1 is on the Financial Ombudsman Service. So we're not going to do any more of it in this week's episode. And actually, that takes us almost to the end of this week's episode, unbelievably.
Done the family tree.
That is a very gentle introduction to Unit 2, I think.
That's quite nice.
That's a nice underpin for all the other awful stuff that we're going to do in the next podcast episodes.
Really, really encouraging people to listen to this, aren't you?
Oh, every week. It's the same thing. But guys, if you are listening to this and you are thinking, actually, it could really do with some help with my CeMAP studies, especially considering how dense Unit 2 is, first of all, you're not on your own. If you want to get into a WhatsApp community of like 500 other students who also think that Unit 2 is the worst thing that ever happened to them, you can do that for free. I'll link it in the show notes. It's a really nice place to be. Everybody supports each other. Everybody complains about the same things. And every so often people tag me in it and I can jump in and help with stuff. It's also the first place that you can hear about all of the free trainings. There's the e-learning platform, which people can access for free and get like 15 hours of free material. So if you're not using that, what are you doing? Yeah. Like, use that. Even if you don't pay a penny to me, great, use it.
It's there.
Get the good stuff out of it.
It's waiting to be used.
It will help with your exams. You can obviously buy the full version if you want to. And then the best option, in my humble opinion, are the masterclasses. It is a 1-week intensive course that you can basically come and spend 5 days with me over Zoom and sit your exam on the Saturday or the Sunday and have a 85% plus chance, according to my January to March student data, of passing first time. Those that didn't pass first time will pass on their second go. So, and the support is unwavering. I'll stay with you till you're qualified. That's the deal. That's the package. The only caveat is my next available course dates are currently September, and I'm recording this in April. So if you are keen to get CeMAP qualified this year, jump on. If there's dates that are fully booked and you would be interested in having a space, I have waiting lists. Just drop me a WhatsApp message. And I think that's it. I think
that is everything. We will be here weekly.
More or less. Unless we're moving house again. In which case we might miss a week or two.
But we will endeavour, and hopefully next week we'll be back with video.
Yeah, some sort of visuals. Perfect. Right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in. Please remember to hit the little subscribe button if you're listening on Spotify. It looks like a little bell. Leave us a review that's 5 stars. If you're going to leave us anything less, just don't bother. And have a great week. Good luck. And yeah, Maria.
Cue outro music.